What's up, guys? Doing another one down solo. This time I'm doing a quick run through of Prison Nightmare using a slightly varied build than normal. Not a build that's a little too crazy. It's definitely a one down viable build and things like that. I just haven't used it in any other solo runs before. I've typically only used it when playing with friends and so forth. So it turned out to go pretty nicely for this run. This run, in all actuality, was kind of a joke attempt I was doing while I was waiting on my friend to come back from helping his significant other with something, I don't know. He said he was going to be back for a few minutes. I was like, well, okay, in the meantime, I'll just try for a little solo one down on Prison Nightmare, and managed to get it in my first run, so I was pretty happy about that. This heist actually ended up being, like, ridiculously easy. Way more easy than I thought it was going to be, and actually, due to how easy I felt like this was, I would definitely recommend this as one that maybe people start off doing one down solos for if they're going to really try to start getting a feel for how to kite cops and move around the map and things like that. Because as you'll see through most of this heist, I don't really feel like I interact with enemies all that terribly much. I do in certain instances, like here in the beginning and so on, but it worked out pretty well. So this particular build I made around using the Bronco, but as you can see I'm using the Madiver instead, and that's really just because I like the way it sounds and looks, as opposed to having any sort of practical application. Like I said, I was just doing this for, well, just for the fun of it, really. Didn't really have the goal of getting this run finished. I was just like, ah, well, I'll try it. I haven't done this one down in a long time, and I've never tried it solo, so we'll see how it goes, and it turned out really nicely. There were only two spots I could think of where this run really just otherwise would have, could have failed without me being able to do anything about it. It was just kind of in the hands of RNG at that point. There was one moment I was running through a big horde of enemies on my way to a doctor bag and dodged a million shots. My armor never broke, so I could have taken, at least one shot before my armor busted, and maybe one or two more shots before I actually died. But and then the other moment was towards the end of the video, and I'll let that one be a surprise. It'll be pretty evident. So just trying to get a convert here. Of course, always trying to get converts. I want to get them as early as possible. Took a fair amount of health damage there. Wasn't too stoked about that, but not a big deal. I don't recall if I have hostage check on this build. I don't believe I do. So I shouldn't be healing, I don't believe. Yeah, it doesn't look like my health's been changed at all, and it's been several seconds by this point. But even though I didn't have hostage taker, I didn't feel like this build was really suffering without it. The combination of the GL40 to be quick at dealing with obviously large crowds of enemies like that over there. I mean, I don't know, who knows how many kills I got right there, right? And then using the pistol in order to deal with enemies that are up close, and of course to kill bulldozers. Worked out pretty well. The Bronco did have a similar, maybe slightly faster fire rate. Of course, my particular build of that Bronco has better accuracy and better concealment, actually. In almost every regard, the Bronco is better for this build, but I really just felt like using the Madiver. So, concussion grenade to move so I could pick up some of that ammo. Ended up going down because of a few enemies right here anyway, but it didn't matter. Had a grenade launcher, so of course I was going to have a easy Messiah. In my opinion, I got a pretty good wheeled spin. I don't have any qualms against this one. I don't like the one out in the courtyard, simply because getting snipers in that area is just absolutely terrible. So I was okay with getting it here in the laundry room.
Medic taken out. The wheel stopped on smoke.
So of course, while all those enemies start spawning at the closest drill, I just bolt to the end of the map, pick up some ammo drops that I had to leave behind earlier, and then just kind of waltz back and forth throughout the prison. Converts positioned themselves pretty nicely, or one of them did. I'm not sure where the other one's at. I think he might have frozen. Yeah, I think the other one froze partway through the heist. I think this is another map that converts tend to get stuck on pretty easily. One thing I like about this map is there are usually a bunch of escapes from any given area. So usually if one way doesn't look like a good way to run away to, then you can just change directions and run somewhere else. Of course, the ridiculous benefits of using a grenade launcher on one down, grenade launcher of any assortment, I might add, is being able to fire it around the corner and clear out enemies without having to expose myself, except for a little bit. Decided it was worth to go on that side, so just snuck around to this side. So, one thing you might notice if you've watched some of my other one down solos, particularly if you've seen some of my more recent ones, particularly maybe Heat Street or Boiling Point as well. In those heists, I made a point not to, oh, this is what I was talking about earlier with the with the extremely lucky dodges. I just ran past so many enemies before my armor broke, because I ran all the way out here. I wanted to save my other med bag for up in the train at the end sequence, regardless. I make a point not to kill nearly as many enemies so that I can kite them around longer, extend the assault wave, and I've explained all that before. However, if you notice in this video, I just really don't care to. I'm just, like I said, I was goofing off, just seeing how far I could get. It was at this point I realized that it was probably actually quite possible for me to go ahead and get it. So, I mean, I just kept playing like normal and didn't try to let the pressure get to me. Usually once the realization sets in that, oh, this run's actually might actually be the one, the pressure usually gets pretty heavy. That's happened to me. That happened to me pretty, well, pretty frequently in my Birth of Sky run. Every time I'd get to the sewers part, I'd almost always choke it until I finally managed to get it. Most of the runs I've uploaded recently, though, haven't taken me nearly as many attempts as Birth of Sky did. Birth of Sky was really a kind of a mental block for me, I think. Almost to the point where I was like, I just can't do one down solos. This is ridiculous. And then after I've beat Birth of Sky, I've just breezed through several. So maybe I'm just picking all the easy ones. I don't know. I definitely intend on picking some harder heists to tackle in the future. Some ones I'm thinking about doing in the near future, some big projects, I guess I'll call them, Hoxton Breakout and Hotline Miami. I'm not sure which one I'll do first, maybe Hoxton Breakout, but I really like playing Hotline Miami, so I don't know. I might also do some other smaller ones as intermediaries, kind of in between those. Try some different builds out, just showcase some different things I work on for solo builds, just to kind of vary it up. But of course, for any larger task, like again Hoxton Breakout or Hotline Miami, I'm probably just going to be using the super meta Cavity and Dragon's Breath Loco. It's just such a useful combination of weapons. My mouse was kind of acting, if you notice, I missed like 3 turns as I was trying to leave. My mouse started acting kind of funny as I was getting towards this part of the heist. It was kind of listing to the left for some reason, and I couldn't tell if it was because my mouse is starting to go bad, or I honestly didn't know what it was, or if the game was just being weird. I couldn't really tell. Maybe my desk is lopsided, my mouse was just moving on its own, I have no idea. But that was what was causing me to miss some of those turns. Converse teleported up here. I actually didn't know that happened on this heist. Or if I did know at one point, I forgot. And then, of course, they just completely obliterated any enemies that were up there for me to get a Messiah off of. Of course, I knew I had until the 20-second mark to get my Messiah kill. I managed to get one. Kind of moved towards the end of the train a bit, but I didn't want to mess with that taser. It's kind of a little invisible edge past that corner right there that I was trying to shoot past. But I suppose that's why the taser wasn't shooting or tasing me right then either, was because of the small invisible lip.
Hold on, guys. I'll send some C4. Faster! Goddamn dozer! Dozer! Dozer's here! Dozer!
Started getting a little cramped here, so I decided to run back down to the other end, my other convert, only to realize that it's just as cramped pretty much everywhere else on this, in the train.
Hands up! Drop the gun! Drop it! On your knees! Drop the gun! Drop it now!
So this is where I was talking about. Right here I get my Messiah, and then I get put in the Swan Song just as I'm getting the getting to the med bag. So I go into a furious rampage and just start mashing on my mouse. But I got feigned death, so it all worked out, right? Another super fortunate feigned death, giving me another extraordinarily early attempt run that I probably shouldn't have got, but just lucky, I guess. I was so happy when I got that. I got the biggest, dumbest grin across my face when I did. I was like, "Aw, yeah." So, and of course through this section, I took a quick down, but it wasn't that big of a deal. I knew there'd be some enemies to get a charge off of, and if so long as I got close enough that even if I went right back into Swan Song, I'd have enough time to run over there. So I wasn't concerned at all. So I just got the Messiah off the shield, ran into the escape zone, and that's all there was to it. So take a quick look at my stats. Alright, that was Prison Nightmare, 1 down solo. Again, it was a pretty easy one. Thank you guys so much for watching.